In 1558, the Mughal army charged across the plains of Odisha with a single, uncompromising objective, the total destruction of the Puri Jagannath temple. But as the cavalry breached the temple grounds, the environment violently shifted. A sudden, unnatural storm violently rolled in, completely choking out the sun and plunging the battlefield into pitch-black darkness. From the center of that darkness, intense, blinding light erupted directly from the temple's inner sanctum. Within that glow, a terrifying, unearthly form moved toward the invading forces. The reaction was instantaneous. Battle-hardened men collapsed unconscious on the stone courtyard. Those still standing abandoned their weapons and fled, gripped by the visceral terror of men who believed they had just locked eyes with death itself. We often write off accounts like this as exaggerated battlefield myths, but what if this was an act of defense? What if the temple was protecting a terrifying, inexplicable power hidden within its walls? Today, the Jagannath Temple sits in the center of a dense, modern city, yet the same strangeness reported in 1558 persists, manifesting in physical anomalies that contradict everyday observations. Look up at the top of the structure. The main flag positioned on the very highest temple spire consistently flies in the exact opposite direction of the wind. Just below that flag sits a heavy metallic wheel called the Sudarshana Chakra. No matter where you stand in the city of Puri, the precise geometry of this object makes it appear as though it faces you directly. This diagram shows a cross-section of the temple kitchen, where cooks stack 7 clay pots vertically over a single wood fire. In this environment, the food in the top pot, the one furthest from the heat source, miraculously cooks first. These anomalies occur at the very edges of the temple, setting a baseline of strangeness before reaching the even more guarded secret at the very center of the complex. Locked deep inside the inner sanctum is a sacred artifact known as the Brahma Padartham. Devotees treat this as a literal object. They believe it is the heart of Lord Krishna. According to ancient texts, after Krishna was struck by an arrow, his body was cremated. While his physical human form turned to gray ash, his heart remained entirely intact, alive and intensely vibrating. An ancient king was tasked with creating a containment vessel for this strange anomaly. He commissioned a mysterious sculptor to carve massive wooden idols from a giant log, working entirely alone in a locked room for 21 days. But the king grew anxious and forced the door open prematurely. He found the sculptor gone and the idols unfinished, missing proper hands and feet. Yet a distinct rhythmic heartbeat echoed outward from the wood. The king sealed the artifact inside the unfinished statues anyway. Those exact, incomplete wooden idols are still used today. They serve as the permanent vessels for this highly active relic. To understand how seriously this relic is taken, we have to look at the Nabhakalabara ritual, which last occurred in 2015. The transfer of the artifact from old idols to new ones requires extreme security protocols. On the night of the transfer, the local government initiates a total environmental blackout. The entire power grid of Puri is intentionally shut down at midnight, plunging millions of people into absolute darkness. The elite priests tasked with moving the object are subjected to intense sensory deprivation. They are strictly blindfolded, and their hands are tightly wrapped in thick protective fabric to prevent any direct physical contact. Outside the sanctum, heavily armed CRPF soldiers lock down the perimeter. No unauthorized personnel are allowed anywhere near the sacred temple grounds to ensure absolute zero visual access to the event. These measures are justified by a historical precedent. Unshielded visual or physical contact with the Brahma Padartham is said to cause fatal shock or instantaneous irreversible madness. This level of extreme precaution has driven modern investigators to look beyond standard religious explanations to figure out what is actually inside that wooden cage. This schematic visualizes Praveen Mohan's hypothesis. This heart behaves like a hyper-advanced electromagnetic device, an active arc reactor. Witnesses describe a vibrating metallic liquid emitting raw energy. This explains why idols are replaced every 12 years. The energy eventually weakens the wood from the inside. Exposing this material to light triggers a violent, uncontrolled energetic reaction. This brings us right back to the Mughal cavalry charge in 1558. The sudden storm, the blinding light, and the subsequent terror were likely the result of this artifact reacting violently when the sanctum doors were breached. The retreating soldiers fled a force of staggering power. Whether viewed through the lens of profound religious devotion or ancient lost technology, the Jagannath Temple operates as a living, heavily fortified containment unit, actively holding back a force that defies our understanding of reality.
I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. If you want to keep exploring history with us, make sure to subscribe to Ask the Timeline and turn on notifications. Every like helps this channel grow and keep